What's up, YouTube? This is Apple of My Droid TV back with another video. We are here today with an unboxing, and we're going to do a review of the Blue Phone R1 HD Amazon exclusive. Now, so here we have it out of the box now. It's kind of in like a plasticky, cardboard type box here. But as you can see, this is a box. It says Blue R1 HD with a picture of the phone. On top here, you have a bunch of information like an IMEI number, serial number, all kinds of other information that you may or may not need. Over here on the side, it says Blue Bold Like Us. On the bottom, it just says Blue Bold Like Us. And if you flip it over here to the back, you have Blue R1 HD at the top. It says it has a 5.0 HD curved display. It comes with a 1.3 gigahertz quad-core processor, 2 gigs of internal RAM, an 8 megapixel rear-facing camera. It says it supports up to 64 gigs of micro SD storage. It has a front megapixel selfie camera with a front LED flash. It supports 4G LTE networks, and it comes with Android 6.0 Marshmallow. Okay, that's what the box says it comes with, or all the stuff that this phone supports. So let's get into the box here itself. And you open the box here, and then you have, wrapped in some kind of little plastic, you have the phone itself, which we'll get to in a second. Then underneath here, we have this little piece of paperwork that talks about the dual SIM. This phone does support dual SIMs. Put that aside. You have the quick start guide for your R1 HD. We have another little piece of paper here. It looks like a bunch of information with your IMEI and your serial number. Looks like a sticker. I'm not sure why they included this exactly, but it's a sticker which has the same thing that was on the outside of the box. Then you have your wall adapter to charge your Blue phone, your wall adapter here. And then you have your cable, which is micro USB, which is how you charge your phone. So that's everything that was in the box there. We'll put this aside for now, and then we'll get to the actual phone itself. We'll take it out of the packaging here and take a look at the phone. So as you can see, okay, so what we have here is we've got the phone out of the box now. There's a little plastic piece on the front that says Blue Bold Like Us, and then the bottom it says Powered by Android, and at the very bottom it says Blue. Towards the top here of the phone on the front, you have the flash, the selfie camera, and then you have the which is 5 megapixels of the camera, and then your proximity sensor and your speaker up here for you to listen in. Moving around the phone, at the top here, your 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. On the side here, you have your volume rocker switch and what appears to be your sleep wake power button. Then on the bottom, you have your micro USB charging port, which is down here to the left, which is kind of strange to me because most companies put it down the middle. And then on this side, you just have nothing. Now you flip it over to the back here, and then you have your 8 megapixel rear facing camera with flash, logo that says Blue. And then down here at the bottom, you have what appears to be the speaker, the only speaker on this phone. Now if you look at the phone itself, the edges are kind of curved all around the phone. And the screen itself, if you can notice, the screen is also curved around all the edges of the phone. You'll notice it's curved too, and as you can tell, I don't know if you can tell, it's hard to tell from that angle. But you can kind of tell it's curved. The screen, you can tell it's kind of curved. So we'll go ahead and flip this over and take the back off. And the way you do that is you come down here and with some prying, because this back is firmly secured. I'm not so sure why, but it is. I don't know if that's good or bad. So what you have here is you have your 8 megapixel camera with selfie, or 8 megapixel camera with flash. That's your micro SD card slot right there. And then over here you have your dual SIMs. And then down here you have your non-removable battery. The battery is 2500 milliamps. Go ahead and put this back on. Overall, the build quality overall seems really nice. This is kind of like a typical plastic, kind of like what you would see on like a Samsung Galaxy S5 or maybe even an S6 or an S4, as opposed to like build quality. It does have like, whoops, this didn't get snapped down all the way. As far as the edges, the sides of the edges of the phone go, you know, they just added this bezel. It's a really kind of decent, nice looking bezel, you know. So overall, the phone, it seems like it would be like decent quality, like not so much as I'd go to say premium, you know, like a Note 5 or an iPhone 6 or 6S. But it still has an overall decent build quality about it. So, I will be doing this was just an unboxing. I'll be doing a review of this phone here shortly. I'll take it for a test drive. I'll put my SIM card in it, do all that kind of stuff, and see how the battery life works for at least a day or so. And that'll be part 2 of this video. Welcome to the review for the Bluefone R1 HD Amazon Prime exclusive. Now, you just saw previously here, I just did the unboxing earlier in this video for this phone. Now we're going to get into the review. Now I'm sure you're asking yourself, what did that guy mean when he said Amazon Prime exclusive? Well, what I mean by that is this phone is being only offered at the price it's being offered at for Amazon Prime members only. Now if you get a trial subscription or, you know, a 30-day membership or a 1-day or whatever, that won't work. You will have to be an Amazon Prime member and the primary account holder on the account to get this phone at the said price. Moving along, to give you a little backstory about the phone itself and the phones they're offering. Why are they at this price? What's going on? Well, what Amazon has done since their Amazon Fire phone failed miserably and nobody ever bought that phone, they've teamed up with a company out of Florida called Bluefone Products. Bluefone Products basically import Chinese and Indian-made smartphones, and they just rebrand them with their logos and go that route. Pretty much what Bluefone Products does. So they've teamed up with Amazon to make phones and give them at a very special price for Prime customers. So that's how that works. The phone right here is the R1 HD 16 gig with 2 gig model, 2 gigs of RAM. They do have another one, which is also the Bluefone R1 HD 8 gig. With 1 gig of RAM. The biggest difference being the storage, the RAM, and the price. The phone you see here today is the Bluefone R1 HD, 16 gigs of storage with 2 gigs of RAM, and it sells for $59.99. The other phone is the Bluefone R1 HD, 8 gigs of storage, 1 gig of RAM for $49.99 respectively. So moving along with all that done and set out the way, we're going to talk about the outside of the phone and then what's inside of it, what the specs are, all that good jazz. Okay, so as you can see here on the outside, you have down here at the bottom their name, Bluefone Company, their logo. Up here you have your 5 megapixel selfie camera, your earpiece, and then your front LED flash. Over here on the side you have your volume rocker and your sleep wake button. Over here on the back you have 8 megapixel camera, flash, the blue logo, and then down here you have your speaker. Okay, but you already seen most of that in the review. So let's get on to what you get when you buy this phone. You get a 5-inch HD curved display. It's a 720p panel, IPS. You get 2 gigs of RAM. You get 16 gigs of internal storage. You get a 1.3 gigahertz MediaTek MT670 quad-core processor. An 8 megapixel rear camera. A 5 megapixel selfie camera. It does have 4G LTE capabilities for like band 17 and 12 and stuff like that. It also has Android 6.0 Lollipop right out the box. Android 6.0 Marshmallow out of the box. It has Bluetooth 4.0. And it comes with a 2500 milliamp battery. Moving right along here, we'll start with, I've used this for a few days, so I've had plenty of time to spend with this phone. We'll start with my biggest gripe being, so far, is the backplate. The backplate seems really hard and tough to get off. I'm not sure why it is, but that's just the way it is. It's not as easy to get off like other phones I've had and messed with. So, and then you also notice down here, the micro USB charging port is upside down. So instead of you having to take your cable and plug it in, technically what you consider right side up, you turn it upside down to plug it in and get it to charge. Not sure why they went that route. So now we will power on the phone here so you can see what it looks like when it boots up. And then we'll talk about the operating system and, some of the features of the phone itself and other things. As you can see, it's booting up, and it says blue, bold like us, powered by Android. Okay, so now it's powered up. We're good to go. Now we can talk about the software, the Android operating system, and all the other cool features that this phone has to offer. Okay, so the first thing you may have noticed when the phone booted up was this thing on here, which is an ad. Yes, there's ads. What Amazon has done also is basically like they do with their tablets and their e-readers is they've put ads on the lock screen. So every time you hit the lock screen, you're going to see a giant ad come across your screen. Now if you swipe, and then you put in your password or PIN code if you have one, and hit OK, bam, the ads are gone. And then when you lock your phone again, wait a second, open it up, there's another ad. Now notice, when I unlock it, the ads are gone. They're not obtrusive, see, they're nowhere to be found. So the ads aren't there. So it's not really intrusive or obtrusive, whatever you want to call it, at all, in my opinion. I think it's kind of cool because, it offers, they basically sit here and they're just, showing you a small ad, and you might come across something that, hey, I never thought about that, or hey, that looks interesting, maybe I want to go check it out, or, I've been wanting one of those, yada, 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 whatever. Gives you the opportunity to, have a chance to go look at it before you buy it. So, looking at our home screen here, we have the time and the date, and then your basic stuff here. This is, like I said, running Android 6.0 Marshmallow. If you notice, the notification bar looks very similar to stock Android. If you've ever used stock Android on a Nexus phone, this looks very similar to that. The other thing too about this, the reason also why it's an Amazon Prime exclusive, is because what Amazon has done is they've baked in their own apps. So if you notice here, you have Amazon Music, Amazon Photos, you have Amazon Prime, Now, Amazon Drive, even Amazon Instant Video is on your home screen too. So they've basically baked in their own apps along with ads also. Also another thing you notice here is Google. They've got all their integrated apps. Google Now, Gmail, Maps, YouTube, Drive, Music, you know, all the basic Google stuff. Now, as I said, it was a near stock version of Android for that reason. The reason it's not like a stock version is because it does have ads on the lock screen, and it does have baked in Amazon apps. But if you're an Amazon Prime member and you're buying this phone for the said price of, as I mentioned earlier, $59.99, then obviously you're buying it because you're a Prime member. So you're going to, most people that would buy it because they're a Prime member and have that are more than likely going to use these apps anyways. So it's really not detrimental if you ask me. Because, I mean, I bought it for that reason. I'm an Amazon Prime member, and I would use 90% of these apps anyways. So, moving right along here, I did not bog this down with a crap ton of apps like my other phone that I use, but I did put enough apps on here to just test it out and see how smooth it operates and how things work, you know, and all that other jazz. So yeah, unlike the HTC phones or the Samsung phones, you know, which come with like bloatware or what have you, you know, there really isn't much except for what Amazon baked in here, you know, which is, like I said earlier, things that you'll probably use anyways. So there's really not that much bloatware. That's probably why it runs really fast, because if you've ever used stock Android, it runs pretty fast too. So that's how you know, and that's not a bad thing. That's actually a good thing. So, that's just a widget you can put on your home screen, one of your home screens, you know, one of your pages there to also advertise different products, ads per se. So moving right along, next here we'll load up a game and we'll see how well it handles the game. You know, how if it lags or if the game runs smooth or how it works. We're playing Traffic Rider, something I found on the App Store. Just seemed kind of fun, so we're gonna load this up. Next, play anyways. Okay, so here we go. Now this game does use an accelerometer, so you have to use your phone to steer left and right. And if you'll notice, I mean, I'm doing all kinds of crazy stuff, see? No lag. It's not lagging at all. I mean, I don't know how graphics intensive this game really is, but it's not lagging at all, one bit. And as you can see, I clearly suck at this game because I crashed. No! Okay. So we'll go home. And then to get out of the game, or I don't know if it's for all games, but to get out of this game, you swipe left from the bottom of the screen and hit your home button here. And then there you have that. So the game ran pretty smooth. You know, there was no lags, no hiccups. I mean, I don't know what games most people play on their phones, other than Pokemon Go right now, apparently, which I don't play. But it ran smooth. So, speaking of that home button, if you'll notice down here, there are no physical buttons. You just have this arrow, which is your back button, the circle, which is your actual home button, and then this square, which is your recent apps button. So those are really the only buttons you have on this phone other than the ones on the side here. So that's kind of how that works. Moving right along here, we'll talk about the network speed. Right now I'm on a 4G LTE, and I've got about what it seems like 2 bars, maybe 3 bars. So we'll run a test here to see you know, how fast the network is where we're doing this video, which right now is in a basement. So we'll do this, and then we'll also do a test here out in the real world. Like if you were out at the mall or out in public, you know, and you need to download a music file or you want to stream on Spotify or, you know, whatever. We'll test that to see, you know, what kind of speeds you can expect, because this phone is unlocked. Okay, so there you have it. It got 17 megabits down and 0.29 megabits up, which is pretty fast for being in this location I'm in right now doing this part of the video. The next part here, like I said, we're going to do a real world test out in the real world to see what kind of speeds you get out there, and see what you can expect. Because as I mentioned, this phone is unlocked, so it does work with various network carriers. Okay, so we are live here at a local grocery store. We are getting ready to do a network test to see how fast the network speed is out here in a public environment. Like if you're out, at the grocery store or the mall or something, you need to send a text or browse on or look something up on Google or, download some music, whatever. We're just going to see how fast the network speed is. As you can see up there, I've got full bars according to my signal bar monitor there. So as you can see, it's pretty fast download speeds. You got 26.93 megabits, and for download and 10.61 megabits upload. So that's pretty good, reliable speeds for this phone. For being as cheap as it is, whatever. It's got pretty good, integrated network, wireless and Broadcoms. And that will do it for this portion of the test. We'll move on to something else next. Now, I personally haven't seen the black-on-black version, so I don't know what it looks like. But I do know that when I've seen this one, I thought, hey, this looks kind of cool. So we'll go with this and see how it looks. So we'll go ahead and put it on the phone so you can see what it looks like actually on the phone. Make sure it gets all lined up and all this jazz. Okay, there's the white portion on the phone. Then we're just going to slide this into the phone from left to right. Okay, here we go. We have the phone case installed on the phone. Looks pretty cool. It does what it's supposed to do. It's going to protect the back of the phone more than it'll protect the front of the phone. So yeah, that about does it for accessories for this phone. There isn't really much there. Like I said, it has 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, so you can use your own earbuds or headphones or whatever, or it has Bluetooth if you want wireless ones. Oh yes, one thing I forgot to mention earlier in the video. Battery life. Let's talk about battery life. I use this phone with low to minimal usage, and it lasted me almost a full 2 days of battery life. Now, if you're going to use this as your main phone, your primary phone that you use every day, then you probably won't get 2 days. You'll probably get at least a good 24 hours out of this phone, because there isn't much for it to power, and it's got a 2500 milliamp battery, which is decent. So you probably won't need very much. So I think it's good. Like I said, if you're going to use a hardcore, like a daily driver, and you're going to play a lot of games on and stuff, yeah, it'll run the battery down faster. But in reality, if you only use it very minimal to none, then yeah, it'll last you a long time. Like I did. I took it with me and used it for a day. I had to go to work for 8 hours. I used it on my break, and then I went back to work and didn't use it until I got home, and repeated the same thing the next day, and it lasted forever. But that's because I barely used it because I was busy at work. So, I mean, if you're going to use it every day, yeah, it may not last as long. Who knows? I didn't really have a chance to really, test it to see how long it lasts, but it didn't matter. So, that about does it for this review of the Bluefone R1 HD. In closing, I will leave you my thoughts about this phone myself, so you can, take your opinions however you feel you need to take your opinions. I like to take my opinions with a glass of milk. I think it's a decent phone for the price, being $60. Both the cameras, the front and the rear cameras, are terrible. That's just my opinion. I like the fact that you have micro SD card support, so you can add up to 64 gigs of micro SD card storage. The speaker is terrible, but I can live with it. The operating system, I like it. There's not a crap ton of bloatware. There's only Amazon apps in there, but those are apps you're probably going to use anyways, so it's not really bloatware, because you might download those from the Play Store yourself anyways. Battery life is really good, as I just mentioned. It's great. I will also like to note that the reason I bought this phone was to have a backup phone in case something happened to my daily driver. Example, say you got an iPhone 6 and you crack the screen. Well, you may not have the money to go buy it. You might not have the money to go get the screen fixed right now, so you need a backup phone. Well, that's why I bought this. It's $60. It makes a great backup phone for when something happens. If you crack your screen on your phone, if your battery craps out and you need to get a new battery because you have a removable battery because you have a Samsung phone, or you have to send your phone off because it's an iPhone and have them fix it because of the battery, this does make a great backup phone. Personally, I think it's a great backup phone. It won't be my daily driver, which is my Samsung Note Edge. That's my daily driver right now, but it does a really decent job of, performing in place of my daily driver when it's not operational and when it's not working. It does a great job. So all in all, in the long run, I can't tell you if it's going to hold up. I can't tell you 6 months down the road if it's just going to start not working and everything's going to shut down, or if one thing at a time is going to crap out. The camera first, then the battery. Who knows? I don't know. Never used a Bluefone. They've been around for a while apparently, so I wouldn't know how well of quality their products are, but you get what you pay for at $60. This has been a review of the Amazon Prime exclusive Bluefone R1 HD. As always, feel free to hit the like button if you liked the video or thought it was good enough to like. Feel free to hit the dislike button if you thought it was terrible and wasn't good enough to like. And as always, leave your comments in the section below. I like opinions. Opinions matter. Everyone has one. Criticism is always good and helpful. Thanks for watching.